Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Universary. Today we have a short little case before Judge Axum in DeKalb County, Georgia. This is LV Funding, represented by Attorney Yazinski, versus Leslie Gaddis. Ms. Gaddis opened up a credit card, made some payments, and then stopped, and is before.
Right, Mr. Yazinski, you all are back. What's the announcement here?
Yes, we've not been able to reach an agreement on this, so we will need to be placed on that final calendar on the 8th or the 13th, excuse me. And if we could do that on Zoom, that would be much appreciated, Your Honor.
Ms. Gaddis, are you able to hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this case you're one of the cases that's on the calendar for actual trial today. Mr. Yazinski and Ms. Gaddis, there are a few cases that are not, but this was the final reset for this case. It's been on at least when it's from 2022. So
okay.
2021. So the trial is today. So we're going to take that. If you all were unable to work anything out, we're going to take that case at the end of the calendar. So I will hear from you all in just a moment. Mr. Yazinski's case versus Gaddis, LVNV Funding, LLC versus Leslie Gaddis. And Ms. Gaddis, are you planning to testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then raise your right hand. All right. And Mr. Yazinski, this is your case. You can go ahead and proceed.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Yes, this is a default on a credit card. Credit card was issued by Credit One to Ms. Gaddis with an open date of 11/30 of 2018. Last payment on the credit card was on 5/26 of 2019, the amount of $25. A charge-off was on 11/14 of 19 and the amount of $750. We're trying to recoup that amount, principal amount, with an additional $104.97. Excuse me. In court costs, the service was made personally on 3/24 of 27. The address of 2613 Embarcadero Drive, apartment 180, which I would note was the billing address during the pendency of the credit card. Answer was served on 4/22 of 22. And if I said personal service was 2024, I misspoke. It was 2022. The last soldiers and sailors affidavit, DODD, was 5/29 of this year. So obviously, Ms. Gaddis disputes the validity of our claim, and so we are here in front of Your Honor on a trial. So, Ms. Gaddis, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So you're denying that this credit card debt is yours. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you do live at that address, 2613 Embarcadero Drive, apartment 180 in Lithonia?
Currently, yes.
Okay. Have you ever applied for a credit card?
No, I haven't. Me personally, I have not.
You've never have. And you recall filing your answer on 4/22/22?
No, sir. I remember appearing on Zoom court.
You don't recall what you wrote in your answer in response to our filing of this complaint?
No, sir.
You don't recall that you wrote, "I requested a card but never received it"?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. And that you said after a while without it, I completely forgot about it. You must have forgot about writing that, huh?
I guess so. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. So that'd be the only question that I have, Your Honor. for Ms. Gaddis, and I would just note a few things for the record. That the in this case, the billing address and the service address remain the same. That during the as noted that the during the pendency of this credit card, payments were made through at least May 26th of 2019, which is, as your Honor would suspect, are not commensurate with cases where fraud or identity theft are incidental to the taking out of the credit card. Usually, when theft is involved, or identity theft or fraud, people charge up credit cards and don't pay on them.
Well, I'd ask you to hold on, Mr. Yazinski, for any argument. I'm going to hear from Gaddis first.
Okay, so just all right. Well, then, all right.
I mean,
I'll let that go to a close.
Let me ask.
Well, the only other thing I would point out is we have submitted a business records affidavit to the court on 12/1 of 23, and one thing that is noteworthy in that record is that there are no written disputes to the record from Ms. Gaddis complaining of billing statements going to her address there at the 80.
All right, Ms. Gaddis, I'll hear from you. Go ahead.
Okay, so when it comes down to this credit card, I graduated from high school in 2015. I'm currently 26 years old. We moved in with my grandmother, and we helped take care of her. When we moved in to help take care of her, she passed away. That was in 2018. Then we moved in from my grandmother to my aunt and my uncle. That was also still in 2018. We didn't move out with them, and I was still attending college at Georgia State University, Perimeter campus, after they did their merge. We moved into this apartment around, I want to say, mid-2019, early 2020. After that, I still was not in a job. I didn't start working until 2020 when I was working at a daycare, which then I got COVID and ended up having high blood pressure, and I had to leave that job for that reason. Then I was out of a job, and now I'm at my job.
Let me pause you, Ms. Gaddis. I'm concerned about the credit card that was issued.
Yes.
Hang on. Anything outside of that, when you tell me, I got COVID or this or that, that doesn't go towards the underlying issue. So let's focus on the underlying issue. If you want to tell me something about the card and why you don't owe the money, I'll hear that. And some of what you've told me is relevant as to where you were living at the time, but go ahead. I'll hear from you.
I have never received the card. I haven't had the card in my possession. That's what I'm saying. I never put in an application for it, never had it. Like, okay. It's getting to the point where I'm over it.
So you did answer the complaint, and you said you requested a card. Ms. Willis, can you put the answer up on the screen?
Yes, Judge. Just a moment, please.
Ms. Gaddis, this was the answer that was filed in this case. Okay. And it clearly says, I requested a card. All right. But now you're telling me you didn't request a card.
That's because the thing is, when I first went into for the answer, the attorney that I had spoken to beforehand, I cannot remember his name for anything, but he was like, he said, even if you didn't request the card, just let it be known that you may have requested the card, but you never received it, because in this particular case, you haven't used the card. You don't know anything about the card. So I'm just going based off of what I was told to do. Okay. Instructed.
I hear you, but I'm not going to consider what someone else told you at this stage. Um, I have to base my decision off of what I've heard from the two of you. All right. Is there anything else you want to provide?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'll hear from you all very briefly. Mr. Yazinski, if you want to make a closing argument, you can.
Your Honor, I think I've said all that can be said at this point.
Okay. Ms. Gaddis.
Everything speaks for itself.
I understand. Ms. Gaddis, did you want to make a closing argument?
No, sir.
All right. Then what I'm going to do is take it under advisement, and I'll get an order out within the next day. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You all are excused.